my name is Martin and welcome to another great edition of MP Astro. Now, over the years I've had this truly awesome mount, and this mount is the NEQ6 mount, can also be known as the EQ6 mount, and this is an old mount now compared to some of the newer mounts that's brought by Skywatcher. You know, there's different variants of EQ6s now. You know, Z, you've got the EQEZ6 mount, and then you've got the, I believe it's the EQ6 Pro. That's another new similar mount to this. But this one used to be the flagship quite some time, and this is the biggest mount around. Obviously I've had it quite some years, so I believe around about 8 and probably 9 years I've had this mount. But this mount is solid. Yes, it's very heavy mount, heavy duty. This is not a mount that you can handle very easily. Even the mount head itself weighs over 20 kilograms, in fact probably more. And it is a beefy mount. However, it's never missed a beat. Absolutely, truly amazing mount. Yes, it does have some flaws. I have done a super tune series of this mount to make it better. Believe it or not, I have, but since I've done that EQ super tune on this mount from those last videos, this mount is absolutely outstanding. It's had the belt modification. It's had the new bearings on there. Everything's been re-greased, and I've not actually stripped it out yet. Why should you strip things out when there's no need? Alright? And it's not, like I say, tracking's been absolutely amazing, guiding's been absolutely awesome. What a transformation this mount has become. Now, if you've not seen those videos, yes, they're a bit outdated, but if you do have this mount and you do have problems with tracking, errors, or guiding, maybe it's time to strip out your mount, give it a clean, re-grease it, put brand new bearings in there, do the belt modification, because that Rowan belt modification is absolutely amazing. So again, check those videos out. I do go in a lot of depth, but please follow it and you will transform your mount immensely. Save yourself a lot of money. Why buy a newer mount, spend more thousands of pounds on a mount when this mount is very capable? These mounts serve a purpose. That's what I like about these mounts, is that you can service yourself. Now, if you had a harmonic mount, ones with very complex drive systems, those systems are not easily achievable to strip it out to then rebuild them. It does take a lot of specialist knowledge and technical sort of mind when you need to apply to stripping out those kind of mounts. And to be honest with you, why strip out something as complex as that? With these mounts you can get away with using simple DIY tools and a bit of basic engineering knowledge. You can achieve awesome results. Alright, just take your time, follow those videos that I've done and go for it. Those will help you get through and transform that mount. You will save tons of money in the process. However, if you are not capable of stripping out such work, there are alternatives. There are companies out there, particularly Dog Frame Optics. Alright, if you check out Dog Frame, the link below for that, he's specialising in modification of mounts. So yes, you do have to send in your mount for him to carry out the work, but he can do that for you as well. There are other alternatives. Alright, so Dog Frame will be able to strip out and super tune your mount and even put better bearings, more specialist bearings. And again, very knowledgeable person. Some people might disagree with me, but to be honest with you, if you don't have that kind of knowledge of knowing how to strip things down, alright, please check him out. Alright, there is help out there. Saving money in the long run. counts a lot. Now there are one or two flaws with this mount, and there is one I want to highlight that's really bugging me. So far this mount's been absolutely amazing. I've been getting some awesome images throughout the years, but there's just one thing that really bugs me on this mount, and I wish that Skywatcher needs to improve on this. So then, here we are at my MP Astro shed again. After years of building this since 2020, she's still in one piece and she's still operating like normal. Like you say, simple designs are always the best method, particularly when you're building an observatory. Again, I've not had any problems with this. It's been so good, this observatory. It's been able to stand against some of the fierce winds we've had here, up to 110 mile an hour winds we've had, and she is a solid shed. Now, as you can see, I'm going to show you this problem that I've got, and I want to address this issue. Now, as you can see, we've got the trusty NEQ6 mount, and as you can see, fantastic mount for the money. All right, really is a workhorse, proven Astro mount. It's obviously it's quite old now. I've done a super tune on it, and to be honest with you, I've not even stripped it down because it's still working fine since the last super tune I did. Again, please check them out at the top. I did loads of super tuning this NEQ6 mount. Really is highly recommended that you watch those videos, because I covered a lot of detail making this mount perform as it should. Now, this mount has never missed a beat, and there is one key issue I want to address here. Now, this is the problem I've got. Here at the main circuit board, the panel, you can see we've got the power. Now, it's got this horrible 2.1 jack plug, and for some reason, with all the years using it, it seems to have developed a bit of a fault. Now, as you can see here, I've had to secure like a Velcro strap to try and keep the cable in place. And the main problem is, like, it tends to glitch out now and again, particularly on very cold nights. And the main annoying thing is sometimes it glitches out and it may affect the tracking or create tracking errors in the images. So it does glitch out now and again. And you can see the power's there, okay, the power is lit up. Now, as you can see, if I just move this part here, you notice that at the moment it's not glitching out as such, but there's times where this power does flicker, and as you can see, it's not doing as it should. I'll just switch it off. Right, so it's switched off, but yeah, it has a habit of glitching out, and it's usually when it's really wet. As you can see, the cabling is not very secure. As you can see there, it's absolutely awful. So again, we've got a bit of a problem here. Now, usually this just glitches out, and sometimes when it's not quite connected, okay, like that, you know, sometimes it's like glitches, and it's usually when it's really like a dewy night where this becomes a bit of a problem. So I'm not very happy with the cabling at all. All right, because the cabling, even though I've put this improvise mod there to eliminate that, I'm still, you know, really damp, cold mornings or nights, this tends to flicker a lot. All right, and it does affect my tracking. So this is why I want to address this key issue. Everything I've done on this mount, the belt mod, the EQ6 Altasimov mod, the new bearings, the strip down, everything. All right, this is a really good mount for its money. Now, I've noticed that there is a newer version of this, and there are a few changes on the newer version, and it looks basically the same. The only difference is that obviously the actual deck axes and RA axis decals are highlighted in green. So that's the only difference with it. So with this one is that I'm not happy with this flickering power issue, and it's And again, I have noticed that some of the newer mounts now from Skywatcher are now 2-pin. So they're either a 2-pin format where you just attach it in there and you screw it in, or it's either a 2.1 jack plug with a screw-in adaptation. So because this mount is quite old, all right, I've got a really old variant of this mount. So the new variants, I'm not quite sure if there's slight differences, but to what I've looked at the specifications, they have actually changed quite a few things on the new mount. And the difference is they've got rid of this hand control plug-in thing. So they've now swapped it over, I think, somewhat of a clip-in socket. And I think they've gone for a 2-pin screw-on type connection. Also, they've still got the auto guider, the ST4, and I believe they've changed it to a USB format as well. So there's different changes on the new EQ6i. That's the only difference I could tell. So this is my key issues here I've got at the moment, is that I'm either looking at getting a new mount, or should I look further into this? So I'm not very happy with this. It's also getting worse. I think the only solution is probably convert it to a 2.1. The other solution is to convert this into a 2-pin power socket. But I'm not really quite happy. I mean, I'm not very good at electrics, all right? I'll be honest with you, all right? I've done a lot of things, but I'm not that clued up on electrics that much. But as you can see there, this mount has never missed a beat. Absolutely fantastic mount for the money. Again, it is being proven as a workhorse, all right? And over the years, it really has been a fantastic mount. So obviously that's my issue with that power connection. Again, it's not happening now, but during cold nights and winter months, that becomes a massive issue, because sometimes it flickers. I think is if there's a bit of damp that gets in there, and it causes all sorts of problems with my tracking, and sometimes it does affect my images. And so at some point, I had problems even to actually power it up. I couldn't even switch it on because I had no power, even though it's connected to the battery and I've got plenty of charge. For some reason, it won't even power up. So that's the issue I've got with this mount. So as you can see, with this mount, is that flimsy 2.1mm jack plug for the power. It really is flimsy, and sometimes it does cut out and I do lose power, and then either my tracking goes or my mount fails to initialize, lose all its go-to capabilities, everything. And then I got to start from scratch again. I do my star alignment, then my setup, and then I start doing the guiding again, which I've lost a good half an hour, maybe an hour's of precious imaging time. And it really is quite annoying. So to that on, I've been researching online and I found a possible solution to eliminate this problem with this mount. So before we start, please hit a like button. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe onto this channel. And don't forget to share this video out. Maybe this video will help many others in the process that's got a similar problem with the 12-volt power connection. And don't forget to hit the bell, also select all, and I'll keep you notified for any new videos that publish up very, very soon. So, if you want to find out what I've done, please keep watching and let's do this. So, we'll take a closer look on the product that I bought from First Light Optics. Now, as you can see, this is for the NEQ6 Pro mount. Close look so you can see that is the detail there. Prod 13299. I will link a description below of this product. So if you're interested in this product, please check out the description below. I will highlight that link for First Light Optics. Again, I believe that ROTHER Optics sell this, so it is available. and it's quite a big box I've got here for what it is. Now obviously I've already opened it, but I just wanted to just check what I've got there. But what we do have is, now I bought 2 of these, alright, so you'll get a cable like this, and this is why I prefer a 2.1 to be replaced by this type. Now this is like a 2.1 sort of jack plug in a way, but it's not. This is the main power cable, and the only difference is what you'll see here is 2 pins, okay? And this has like a fitting, a screw type fitting, and it's a lot more secure. So this is a long cable. Now I've already bought an extra cable, so there'll be 2 of these. So this is not included with the package, right? You only get 1 of these, all right? I bought this one from 365 Astronomy. All right, this is basically an extra cable just in case the other cable is faulty. So with this box, you will get the EQ Pro circuit board. Okay, again, this is all sealed up like so, well packaged, and if you take a closer look for the package, you'll see the differences already. So as you can see there, take a closer look, you'll get a snap-on adapter so you can power up a DSLR through your mount using software for your computer. This is the one I really want to replace. This is the 2-pin power for the 12 volt supply, all right, and this is a lot more secure. Then you've got the power for the auto guider, all right, that still remains the ST4, and then you've got the hand controller, which is slightly different. So as with the older one, you had like an old serial cable, but now replaced with the hand control. Now this will become apparent why I'm replacing that. I don't know why they swapped it out, but I do know why they've done that. Then you've got the USB cable, so you can also power directly onto your computer, all right, and also you control it that way. So you've got list of power units there, and then you've got the on-off switch like normal. All right, there's a lot of differences with that. So there's your main circuit board, all right, and I will take you through step by step how to connect this onto your mount. So this is the brand new Skywatcher Pro circuit board. Now, one thing I need to address to you guys in the other one, if you look at the EQ6i, which is the new one, this has the same circuit board as that. So if you've got the old type Skywatcher, the EQ6 or the NEQ6 mount, this is the upgrade. So if you want to convert your existing NEQ6 or EQ6 mounts this into an EQ6i, this is the way to do it. Now this cost me £151 from First Light Optics. Again, description below to check that out. So there's some real differences on there. Alright, so there's already 2 things I want to show you. I want to sort out the power issue using the 2-pin adaptation. So we're going to put it back, so keep it nice and protected, alright, because obviously electronics, alright, are very delicate sort of thing, so we'll wrap it up for the time being. Also in this box we will take out the existing contents. So in this bag, what we've got is you will get the 2-pin 12 volt DC power cable. All right, so you will get one of these with the set, and this is the snap-on, so you can control your DSLR through your mount, and also you use the SynScan app as well. So you can actually control your DSLR camera via the mount through the app and control that as well. which is a nice little feature. I do like how they include that cable with it. We're going to have a look elsewhere. Right, so what we've got in this bag, I'm not quite sure, but what we've got in here, it looks like there's a polar scope illuminator. Now, I'm not quite sure why they've included that. Maybe it'll become apparent in the video, later on in the video, but they give you a polar scope illuminator. And then here we have the cable, and it looks like the cable for your hand controller. So obviously what they've done is replace the horrible serial old style, I think it's a 9, 10 or 14 port sort of serial sort of printer cable sort of socket, and replaced it with, looks to me, an RJ45 cable. Now obviously with my mount, mine's going to be powered off by my SynScan dongle, which is the bit where I can power my SynScan app from my mobile phone. This is still usable. So even though you've got a hand controller, you can still use your hand controller if your SynScan app fails. The hand controller, believe it or not, is very reliable. As long as you keep up with the firmware software update, the hand controller will be your second backup. So if everything fails, you still can use your hand controller. So everyone who's got your mounts, don't get rid of the hand controller, because the hand controller does serve a purpose. Even though it's collecting dust, if your app fails or doesn't run properly, just use straight onto the hand controller. That's your backup. Again, hand controller, solidly built, reliable, works 100% all the time. Alright, it's like the ST4 lead as well for your auto guided cable. Again, very reliable source. Yes, it's an extra cable, but it's never let me down. And I just cannot understand why people think the ST4 lead is useless, because believe me, it's not. I've always run all my guide cables through my guide camera through ST4 lead. I do have problems with USB. For some strange reason, USB works, but sometimes it's very glitchy with certain programs, and when the cold nights come in, sometimes the ST4 lead can be very glitchy and it's not great. And again, even though you're using high quality cables for your USB, some strange reason USB can be very problematic over certain periods, certain nights. I don't know why it is, but ST4 lead and this type of lead is simple, works effectively and does the job, and that's what you want. Alright, you want your mount to be running 100%, particularly when haven't got much clear nights. Never get rid of your hand controller, alright? Even though if it fails your app, you still got a backup system, and that's what I like about keeping your old Skywatcher mount. Yes, it might be outdated technology, but you're not relying on Wi-Fi, and when things go wrong, you still got something to go by. So that's the cable here and the polar scope, and then we take a closer look on some piece of documentation. And as we got here, take a closer look. Right, so there's some sort of notice. So here it's obviously when you replace the old board, there are slight differences. So obviously I'll go through that, but obviously there's the cable arrangements are vastly different on here. So what you got here is, I'm guessing that's the old board, and then that's the new board. So obviously there's slight differences of connecting the circuit board on there. So I like how Skywatcher have done that, so that you can connect the wires properly. Right, so there are some slight changes there. So that's obviously a little step-by-step sort of showing you the differences and what to do. So where I'm reading it here, When you use the new board to replace the old board on the EQ6 Pro mount, please refer to its corresponding ports shown in diagram and below sheet. So obviously this table here illustrates when you compare the old board to the new board and how you connect that up. Alright, so it looks complicated at first, but I think they've done it quite well there because it shows you exactly what to do. So whatever old board you do, you disconnect one lead and put it to the new board. So that will become apparent in the video. So also here, well, that doesn't help very much, but obviously I think that's a warranty. It's all in German. Obviously I don't know exactly what it means, but it's all in German for some strange reason. I have no idea why, but I'm guessing that is the guarantee. But but anyway, I don't know what that is. We've got an NEQ6 mount or EQ6 mount, whatever you got. Obviously, if you left it outside, let it dry indoors, wipe off the dew, alright, make sure it's completely dry. Once it's dry, get yourself an issued Skywatcher or any cross-point Phillips, alright, and we're going to remove the actual screws, alright, that supporting the circuit board. Now, this control panel, alright, I've not took it out for some time, alright, since the last videos I did on super tuning, so I've no idea how this is going to look. Alright, so we take off the 4 screws like so, alright, and using a flat point screwdriver we're just going to pry off the panel. Again, it will be a bit difficult because obviously you've got cables in there, so just carefully prise it out. And as you can see, you don't have much room to play about with. So most of the wires are from obviously the actual drives inside. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to carefully pull out the connections. So this one here that connection is the RA drive, so we disconnect that, and we're going to disconnect the really flimsy LED, which is the polar scope connection. All right, very thin wire, so be careful with that. And then you've got the deck axis. All right, you just pull that off nice and carefully. So luckily with this old circuit board, you just basically disconnect the deck and the RA axis and the polar scope cable. Alright, so then you'll get the complete circuit board out like so. So we take a closer look on the actual circuit boards. We've got the old type, which is here, and we've got the new type. Now, the one thing I've noticed a massive difference is the old type clearly shows you the deck and RA and the LED illuminator, all right, on there. So everything that you connect is very easy. So you can put your deck motor, your RA motor, and then your polar scope motor. Now, based upon the instruction manual that I've noticed, I'm glad there is an instruction manual, because at first it was like, when I looked at this, the new one, there's massive changes. Now, one key area you need to address is that when you read the instructions, right, the circuit board on here doesn't show you like the old one, the deck, the LED and the RA axis, obviously for the motor drives and the polar scopes. So where I'm looking at it, this port here, all right, we take a closer look, right, as you can see with that, you can clearly, the circuit board on the older type is much easier. So we'll drag that to one side and we're going to show you the close-up so that you can see properly. So this part here, that is your deck axis, all right? So this is the deck axis motor drive, all right? So in the diagram it just shows you the socket, but it looks like they're giving you an extension cable to connect the deck axis multi-drive. So this part here is your deck axis. This port here is, if we just peel back the extension cable, this is your RA axis. Alright, so that's your RA axis, right, to connect the motor drive for that one. Now this is where it gets a bit complicated slightly. This port here, as you can see there, this one is the J10 port. Now the J10 port is compared to the leader port, which is situated here on the old one. Right, there's the old one. Right, as you can see there, the leader port, which is the polar scope illuminator. This one is where the polar scope is connected. Now the power is already there, so you don't need to connect the power. The power is already connected there. So that's your PR1 and your SW1 cable. This is automatically connected up. So in the instruction manual you also got the snap. Again, the snap, which is to control your DSLR camera, which is that one. That one is already connected. So you don't really need to bother with those, right? These are already connected. So the one key issues is your deck axis and your RA axis, and then your polar illuminator port. Now, I have checked on my old mount, and this connection is not the same as the leader port. So that means that I have to change my polar scope illuminator on my mount to be able to fit into this port here. So this is why they give you the brand new illuminator, because this has a different connection. Okay, so I don't know why they haven't kept the old connection, so they give you a new connection. So from the look of it, I have to remove the old polar scope illuminator to prize that out and replace with this one. Okay, so that's the only drawback with the new Skywatcher circuit board. So as we take a closer look on the mount, this is the old connection, all right, and as you can see, it's a different type of connection. All right, so with the new connection on the new circuit board, which is this one, is smaller. All right, so they use a smaller connection compared to that one. So it basically means I need to take out the polar scope illuminator. Now, get yourself a flat point screwdriver, and it's very easy. You do not need to strip out multi-drives or disassemble the mount axis, all right, to do this. One simple solution is get a flat point screwdriver, get behind the polar scope itself, all right, and just prise it little bit at a time, right? Just a little bit at a time. Just prise it out, okay, carefully, and it will pop out. It's only a plastic cap. So as you can see, I'm just bit by bit prising it out. All right, it will come apart. And as you can see, we've got the polar scope, the old one, and it comes apart like that. Alright, so that's your old one. Again, do not bin this polar scope illuminator, because this is for your old circuit board. Alright, in case your new one doesn't work, you can always refer this back. So don't bin this, put it back with your old circuit board, alright, and keep that. We then grab our new polar scope illuminator. Alright, and it doesn't matter which way you put it, okay? It doesn't matter, but ideally I will put it with the cable facing towards the circuit board, alright? So all you do is just put it back in place, carefully. Now if you take a zoom in so you can see exactly what I'm trying to do. As you can see I'm lining it up like so. And I'm just going to slide it in, okay, bit by bit. So it doesn't matter which way you put it, but it clips in like so. Okay, there's your polar scope. It is now lined up, so you've got cable facing towards you, alright, and that's what you want. So the polar scope cap is in place, alright, just push fit in there, alright, just make sure there's no free play and it's in there. So we're going to fit the new circuit board, and as you can see we're going to have it located that way, alright. Now I just found out also why you've got this extension cable here is because when they've made it, this connection is a different connection compared to the deck axis motor drive. So they use a different socket, so that's why they use this extension piece. So I did try to look into it, I did try to remove this part here, and I tried it to fit it to the existing to the existing deck motor. This is a different connection, so that's why they give you this extension cable here to fit this older type connection here. So as you can see there, that's why they've done that extension. So you connect your deck motor axis drive and you connect this onto the deck motor. Again, it fits one way. Alright, so you line it up. Okay, like so, it fits one way. You'll see that there's two serrated panels. Alright, so if you take a closer look, you see there's two serrated parts there. That is the way you connect it. So you push it in like so. So that's the deck axis motor drive connected. We then connect the RA axis. So this is the port here to connect that RA axis motor drive on place there. Again, it fits a certain way. Alright, and with this one, you just line up the two prongs. Yeah, so what I found out with this RA axis motor drive, it can be a bit fiddly, so you just line up, as you can see there, you'll see I lined up the two prongs that stick out here, alright, these two prongs. So it does take a bit of gentle persuasion, so just be careful, you just push it in, nice, and it will slot in, right, it's very delicate. So at the moment I am in, okay, but it is fiddly. So I should be slotted in quite well. Again, I'll just double check, alright, and just make sure I'm in there. So you line up the two prongs with the pins, alright, and I'm on there, alright. If it doesn't go any further, leave it well alone, okay. So if it doesn't go any further than that, stop, okay? Because obviously that is probably where it's connected, alright? So you don't want to go any further than that, alright? So once you line it up and it slots in there, that's it, that's that connected. And then the last connection is the delicate polar scope illuminator to the RJ10 port, which is that one there. So you connect that one up, again, line up where the one single prong here, alright, and you just basically connect that up like so. Again, very delicate, it will slot in, and there you go. Once it's pushed in, that's it. That is now everything connected up to the new circuit board. Alright, so as long as you follow that guide, alright, you can't go wrong. So now everything connected up, we then carefully flip the circuit board, and we're just going to make sure that the cables are not catching against the polar scope and the motor drives, alright, just get it all in there like so, okay, and just carefully just put it in there in place, Again, I think I've got it the wrong way around. Stupid of me. So what I'll do is I'll just flip it round. Like, there we go. So making sure that all my cables are away and not blocking the view of the polar scope. Alright, so flip it in there like so. It should pop straight in. That's obviously a good indication that you've got that installed correctly. You then replace the screws back in like so. Again, don't have them too tight, just have them nipped up. Alright. Okay. So that is now the circuit board, the new modified circuit board, already installed. So now we've got the NEQ6 mount back on the tripod, and as you see, we've got a connection. We've got a connection here, right, for the 12 volt supply. So as you can see, we're just going to show you how good that port is compared to the conventional 2.1 jack. And as we connect that up, you line up the dimple, alright, the dimple here, you line that up to the prongs. Wow. And I just screw that in. Oh, that's a lot better. That is so much better. So I'll connect that to the power tank. As you can see there already, it fits perfectly there. So with that feels a lot better there. You can now connect your handset. Again, fits one way. Alright, and it connects there. Alright, and you can connect that to the hand controller. Right, so that now fits not the horrible multi-pin serial port that you get from printers. It is now on an RJ45. Personally, I'm not going to use this hand controller as such. What I'm going to use, and I'm going to show you, is apart from using that serial port, I'm going to use my GPS, well, I'm going to use my SynScan Wi-Fi adapter. This will go in the existing hand control port, like so. So now, as well as we've got a decent port here for a power, we've now got a decent attachment for your dongle, alright, and this SynScan Wi-Fi now is not held in by a horrible cable which is draped along. This is now freely exposed from that, and it looks a lot better now. So now I've got my dongle here connected up on a decent cable, not a horrible multi-pin cable, and there we go. It's all appears to be much better now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the power on the power tank, and we're going to switch her on. Already you see the light. If we zoom in, you see the light there. The Wi-Fi should be flashing, which indicates it's working. Now this is very important, guys and girls and everyone. I have tested this motherboard before previously, and I found out a big problem with this motherboard. There are some motherboards that are older that were obviously, they work quite well with the SynScan dongle, not a problem. However, I have come across this brand new issue that I've got. There's something that they've done, Skywatcher, to this motherboard, and the reasons for it is I tried to connect my mobile phone through the SynScan Wi-Fi, and I just could not connect to this brand new motherboard. I have no idea what's happened, and I'm going to take you through what I found, and I'll take you through how to resolve this. Now, some Wi-Fi dongles might work with this motherboard, some don't. Unfortunately, I have a dongle here that does not work. No matter how much I try to connect my smartphone or my computer, I cannot gain any access, connect to the mount and control it. So I'm going to take you step by step how I managed to resolve it, and a big thanks to First Light Optics to take me through it, because what's happened is I sent this motherboard back to First Light Optics to rectify what it was. So there is some issues with the Wi-Fi module with the latest motherboard for the EQ6 Pro motherboard, and it just did not work with certain SynScan dongles. So if you have this issue, please follow this guide. I'm going to take you through now how to resolve this. Again, if you get any problems with the motherboard, send it straight back to the retailer you purchased it from. So I'll show you the issue just to prove that I'm not talking rubbish. So I've got my phone, right, and I'm going to connect my Wi-Fi, right? So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take you through, and I'm going to connect to my Wi-Fi through this dongle, right? This is a dongle that I haven't, right? So I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to find my network, and find where is my SynScan. So I'm going to, hopefully, my phone will find it. Try again. So there's the SynScan there. So I'm going to show you the SynScan there. It's going to lock onto that SynScan. What you'll find, if you take a closer look, if I just dim down so you can see, right, you get connected to device, can't provide internet. So I'm logged onto that SynScan, okay? That is now through the computer. I'm now going to activate the SynScan Pro, which is the app that I control the mount. And you'll get this, that is the IP address. So I highlight that, and this is what you'll get. You'll get cannot connect, communication error. So doesn't matter how much I try, I cannot connect the SynScan app through to the Wi-Fi dongle through this mount. And this is the issue that I've got. So this is a different dongle. This motherboard's been resolved anyway. All right, they sorted it out. First Light Optics sorted out what was the problem, and I will address it later on in the video what it was. All right, so that's what I got. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to resolve it. So to resolve it, you leave the power on and you leave the dongle on. Leave the power on, all right, don't touch the mount. Make sure that your smartphone is disconnected from the Wi-Fi adapter, all right? So your phone is not connected to the Wi-Fi. So make sure that is off. Leave everything as it is. So then everyone, what I'm going to do is show you what has happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through, and this is the issue I've got, is I contacted First Light Optics and they tell me that there are two different types of SynScan Wi-Fi adapters. One is a version 1.09 and the latest version is a version 1.10. So there is two different firmware SynScan Wi-Fis. Now, in order for the motherboard to work, you need the version 1.10. The 1.09 is the dongle that I've got at the moment. So with this issue,
I need to download the SynScan from Skywatcher. You then, once you open it, you then extract everything, right? So what you do is you open up the file, click on it, it'll probably ask you to extract all. So extract all the files, like so. So that's your files. So we're going to minimize that and minimize that. So this is the file, and you'll need, there's a set instructions first, so read instructions. Now the instructions is very vague. So this is your step-by-step instructions. Disconnect the Ethernet cable from your PC. Let your PC join the SynScan Wi-Fi adapter access point. Run SynScan firmware loader. Then it says click the firmware version button to Wi-Fi current adapter. And then use the browse button to load the firmware, and then click the update button, and again, if it fails, try again. Alright, very vague instructions from Skywatcher. Not really happy with that. However, there are some help. So the first thing you want to do is, before you start up the loader, you want to find your Wi-Fi connection. So there is the SynScan Wi-Fi 3B52. So what you do is you click on it and you connect to your Wi-Fi, which is connected to your mount. So this will take a while. Sometimes it just depends how quick your computer is. Mine is so slow, I definitely need a new one, but it will connect. So come on computer, work. Obviously I'm recording this, so I'm using a lot of memory. So I've looked, hopefully I'm connected to my mount. Okay, I'm connected to my mount. So that is my dongle connected up. We're then going to open the SynScan Wi-Fi. We're then going to upload the loader. Alright, now we've got the loader. We click on browse button, and it will open up your SynScan Wi-Fi 110. If it doesn't, all you do is, that is your Wi-Fi firmware there, that file there. So you just scroll up, click on it, and it will click on that on your file. So highlight it, click open. This is your IP address for your dongle. So once you've got everything, you then click on update. Remember to leave your power on, your mount and the dongle left onto the mount. You click update and you should get something. Obviously it's not working, so I'll try again. Right, we'll try and update that again. Obviously I don't know why it's done that. Connect. So again, clear example, some reason I've got disconnected, so I'll try again. Right, we're connected, we'll try again. So we update it and it's still playing funny buggers. Right, let's try this again. Right, I'm on. I'll try again. Update. So there you go. Once it's updated, you'll scroll up. It keeps cutting off. Technical issues again, as usual. I think because I'm running several programs. I was almost there. I don't know why that keeps playing up. I should be able to connect there. Like I say, I'm not very happy. It's so glitchy. maybe I'm not close enough. Again, obviously assume that you try and get as close as you can to the dongle. And try again. That should be connected. Like I said, the only solution is to get it connected. I'll try again. Update. Like I said, I've got everything in order. But for some reason I'm just not able to connect to the mount. So maybe if because I'm recording, it's just not going straight through as usual. I'll disconnect it. Update again. Okay, so it's obviously not working. This firmware, it's obviously not working at all. See, I've done everything. I followed the instructions there. All right. So if it fails, cycle power and retry again. So we're just going to try that again. So what I'll do is I'll switch off the power again to my dongle, obviously to my mount. Okay, and then reset it. I'm just going to check the connections on my dongle as well. It's a good thing that it's happened now, all right? Because I'm not going to hide, right? I'm not going to hide everything from you. So I've disconnected and reconnected the dongle. Make sure that my connections are properly done. And I'm just going to try that again. Right, there it is. Connect. What I will do is restart the firmware uploader again. Again, I'll browse it, connect the latest firmware, and update it. Right, come on, come on, come on, come on, get through this. Yes! There we go. We've now updated the firmware onto our dongle. So our SynScan Wi-Fi adapter should be a version 110. As you can see there, very glitchy. Like I say, what I've done there was disconnect the power, recheck the connections on my dongle, and just did it again. Okay, so I've rechecked it and then switch on the power once my dongle's inserted and then try it again. As you can see, it's very glitchy, even just to put the firmware on there. I'm not really happy with that, guys and girls and everyone, but here I'm just here to prove a point to you guys and girls and everyone that I'm showing you the real stuff. Alright, I'm not going to hide it and black the case to then mislead you. That is just not me. Alright, so as you can see there, we've now updated the firmware. So as it says there, you turn off the power to your mount. Alright, so that's it for time being. We'll close the program and we'll go to the mount. So now we've updated the firmware on this dongle. We then switch off the power, okay? And then once you've done that, you can then activate the mount again. We're now going to connect our phone. This time I'm going to log on. I'm going to find the Wi-Fi.
So network, there's the SynScan there. Alright, so I found my SynScan. Alright, it'll still say connected device, can't provide internet. Don't worry about that. Okay, so we now got the Wi-Fi locked onto the mobile phone. We then activate SynScan app and we connect. Straight away, as you can see there, we are already connected to the mount. Bingo! That shows you now the dongle now works with the motherboard. We can now operate through our smartphone or computer, and as you can see, we can adjust the settings. Alright. And there you go. I've noticed something else. With this new motherboard, the drives sound a lot different compared to the old motherboard. It's starting to sound like more of my HEQ5 mount. So it sounds a lot better than motor drives. So I don't know if it's going to improve the tracking of the motor drives, I'm not too sure. But it feels so much smoother. So now you see for yourself, we've now updated that dongle firmware to version 1.10, and this is the issue with this new motherboard. The new motherboards now will not accept older style SynScan Wi-Fi units. Those versions are version 109. This is now converted to 110, which will work for the new EQ6 Pro motherboards. So then, what do you reckon, everyone? Fantastic upgrade, and I can now have a much more stable 12 volt power with a much more robust power port. The other thing is now I've got the SynScan Wi-Fi working, and again I can connect that without this long lead to connect it to the other old motherboard. Now it's a real shame that I didn't manage to able to test this mount out. The weather has been absolutely atrocious. We've had a really bad storm and the weather has just not been great. And as you can see, my frustration is not being able to show you how this performs. It is soul destroying. But this is UK weather. This is reality. This again is not stage video. Alright? This is true astronomy as it is. I've just got to wait till it's clear, and maybe I could highlight it how it performs after the motherboard change. The other issue I'd like to address is with this new motherboard they've launched. Yes, I've got equivalent to an EQ6i, alright, which is the newer model of this. The only difference is with that one, it's the same sort of mount, probably has got better bearings. Maybe it's belt modded, I'm not sure, but I do know it does have the same motherboard as this upgrade. Now it's a real shame that Skywatcher, when they launched it out, they put it on sale. I did have problems with this mount, and it's really disappointing that why should they bring out a new product, not tell you about the firmware update that is required to update your SynScan Wi-Fi dongle. I was getting very frustrated because I've done this several times and I was getting quite annoyed. So I had to contact First Light Optics, the retailer that I purchased it from, and those guys have been absolutely amazing. That team has helped me solve this issue. So what I did is I've emailed them, and as you can see in my email, I had loads of problems. I sent the motherboard back after I emailed them, and they then replied back and notified me that this was a firmware problem with the motherboard. So with that, they sorted out what was the firmware. They've updated the firmware on the motherboard, and they then told me to update the SynScan Wi-Fi to not 109 to version 110. And again, the link below for the official update is in there, so please check it out if you've got problems with your site, with your Wi-Fi SynScan dongle. If you've got a problem with that, please carry out that procedure, alright, and it will hopefully the new motherboard will be able to connect to your SynScan Wi-Fi. First Light Optics have done an amazing job and they helped me out through it. Really much appreciated for their customer service. Their customer service, yes, it does take a bit of time for them to sort out the issue, but they got back to me and they found out what it was. And I really appreciate that team for helping me out. It really is such a joy. It really is great to see that there are some good companies out there that really do care about the customers. So I'm very impressed that I'm able to connect my Wi-Fi dongle from my mobile phone, and the mount does sound very different. So it does sound like the drives sound very like an HEQ5 mount, which can be very promising because for some reason HEQ5 mount seems to be much better at go-to accuracy than the original EQ6 mount. So maybe, I don't know yet, but maybe this might actually improve the go-to functionality of this mount. So I'm really crossing my fingers. Hopefully I get it clear skies and able to show you guys and girls and everyone how this performs truly. But apart from that, massive improvement on the power and a big improvement on the of the SynScan Wi-Fi adapter. So it is a good upgrade. The only concern I wish that Skywatcher, they should have addressed this issue in the first place. Why launch out an awesome product and then not notify their customers on obviously the firmware update on the motherboard? Now, with this product, would I recommend it? Yes, I would, but I will reward this 3.5 stars. And the reasons why I'm rewarding this motherboard 3.5 stars is because of that firmware update and not notifying to their customers that issue. It is very hard to go through the website and there's no mention at all with these problems. So I don't know if it's a bad batch of motherboards that they have launched, I don't know. But I wish that they improve on their quality control a little bit better than this. And I wish that when you're forking out money, at least some kind of notification or something to let them know of the situation. Alright, it's really disappointing when you buy something and it doesn't work. Alright. The other thing is I do like how Skywatcher have included everything that you need. The cable. I do like to give you a polar scope, illuminator. Alright. They give you the extra stuff. Even the handset cabling as well. You do get a lot with not just the motherboard, but you get the extra stuff as well included in the package, which is good. The instructions are a bit vague at first, but then the instructions are, if you look at the diagrams do make it easier for you to install. Again, please use this video as a guide to guide you through it as well. I'm a bit dubious why they've gone for really small connections, really tiny wires, and the connections are very flimsy compared to the old motherboard, which are much chunkier and much beefier. The other thing is that with the new motherboard, there's like an extra extension cable for the deck motor, axis motor drive. I don't know why that is, but why can't they just do that with the R8 axis motor drive? So I don't know why there's extra cabling involved with that. However, having said that, the motherboard does appear to be working now. It's a real shame that I've not managed to really test it out to prove to you everyone that it's working. So at the moment, I'm waiting until the weather is clear and I'll hopefully get to test it out and then show to you everyone. But please, if you're interested in buying this product, please use this video as a guide to take you through to upgrade the motherboard. So far, the app from my phone runs amazingly fast. So there are some massive improvements already with the power connection and the Wi-Fi. So far, fingers crossed, the weather plays ball. So yes, I would recommend this product, but I wish that Skywatcher start to improve better on their quality control, because buying something that's brand new and it's not working as it should, I think it needs to be addressed seriously. And that's why I've rewarded this 3.5 stars. Could have been 4, maybe 4.5, we don't know. I might reward it later on if I do another video and I really get to test out the true performance of this motherboard. So, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Don't forget, share this video out. Try this modification yourself. It's another way to upgrade your existing mount and save a lot more money in the process. Again, this is now equivalent to an EQ6i mount, which is the newer version of this. Again, this is a solid mount, proven, tested for astronomy, and it's used throughout many astronomers for astroimaging or visual astronomy, and it is a bulletproof mount. Yes, it's heavy, it's cumbersome, but it's a mount that you can work for yourself. You can strip it out with a bit of DIY tools, carry out some basic maintenance. This is a solid mount. And it's a mount that will serve you for many years. Yes, it's not going to be as great compared to the accuracy, the tracking accuracy of a harmonic mount or something like that. But for people that's on a realistic budget like myself and many others, this is a great way to save yourself a serious amount of cash. Mounts like this can last to 10, 20 years, even longer, probably more. As long as you're getting good tracking and some good images, who cares about the tracking on PhD guiding? Don't be obsessive with that. All you're concerned about is when you're taking great images. Yes, you're going to get periodic errors and all that within the mount, from time to time. It varies from night to night, to season, year by year. But as long as your stars are very star-pointed stars, no tracking errors, who cares what PhD guiding is actually currently operating? As long as that software is self-correcting the mount, who cares about graphs and ratios and stuff like that? End of the day, your main concern is getting great images. As long as your mount is polar aligned and your star alignment is good and your go-to accuracy is good, that's all you care. Get good results with the images. That's all you need. So, thanks again. Thanks for watching, and I wish you all clear skies.